Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kyra, and here on this channel, we just like to talk about makeup, good, bad, other, high, low, in between, and today we're gonna do just that. I recently saw a video on Sarah Rose's channel about products that she thought that she would still have in her collection if she wasn't a beauty creator or a YouTuber. I mostly create on TikTok right now, but I am coming back to YouTube, one video at a time. And so I thought I would do my own little spin on this. I did basically fill up this basket. I have it all laid out in front of me here. And I just want to share with you the products I think I would still have in my collection, even if I wasn't creating videos every day. So with all that said, we better get into it because it's kind of a lot of makeup. Starting with the Milk Hydro Grip Primer, I honestly think this is the only primer that I would have in my collection. I don't really use a lot of primer. I tend to use it more for occasions when I do really need my makeup to last. I do have this on today, and I will call out the other products I have on today. So also kind of in the primer category, because I feel like that's kind of how I use it. This is not the right bottle, is the Milani Make It Last setting spray. Actually, I have it right here. It's the great big one, which is a way better deal if you can find this at Walmart or Target. But this is the only setting spray I would need. Sometimes I put it on before I put any makeup on at all, but the way that I mostly use it is to spray down my face after I have like my dots of foundation, or if I'm using a brush, I put my foundation on with a brush. I give it a really good spray, and then I go over it with my beauty sponge. So I would definitely have this in my collection. And in case you didn't know, here's a little bonus content for you. The Milani is 100% a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. So save yourself some money. The only foundation I would need in my collection would be the L'Oreal True Match Nude Tinted Serum. I have just about finished 2 bottles of this, and I already have my backups because this is just my everyday foundation. It's what I have on today. I really enjoy the finish, the smoothness. It's the perfect coverage for my preference. And, it wears incredibly on my oily skin, which is really saying something, to be honest. And this particular shade that I'm wearing currently is 2 to 3 light. The only concealer I need or want to keep in my collection would be the Lancome Teint Idole All Over Concealer. I love this stuff. I have mine in the shade Buff In, and it's amazing. It's thin, it's hydrating, but it has good coverage, and it works all over the face, all over concealer. Powders, I feel like I would have at least 1 pressed and 1 loose powder. And for the pressed powder is the one I have on today, is the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear Foundation in a powder. And I don't wear this as powder foundation. I use this as a powder to set my makeup. And when I use this, my makeup does not go anywhere no matter what foundation I'm using. But it is an especially good pairing with these two together. So I really enjoy it. It does add a little bit of coverage, and it's just a great all-around powder, especially if you have oily skin. I should say, I'm 41 years old and I have oily skin. So the loose powder that I would absolutely go for would be my Givenchy, because we're assuming that even if I'm not a beauty creator, I'm still watching beauty YouTube or TikTok or what have you, and I'm still being influenced. And this is my all-time favorite powder. I hate to say it because it's so freaking expensive, but it really is the GOAT. However, if you do need a drugstore recommendation for a loose powder that I really recommend, I would go with the Fit Me. It's very smooth, it has a little bit of coverage, and it's uber cheap. Bronzers and contours. This is the part where you're going to see I have more in some categories than others because, they're my favorite categories. So starting with bronzer, I have my liquid contour, the Milani Conceal and Perfect in the shade 01 Honey. I have this on today underneath my powder bronzer, and it is just amazing. Do I love the packaging? I don't mind it, to be honest. Yes, it's messy and that does bother me sometimes, but in terms of application, I still really like the applicator. My favorite cream bronzer and the one I would absolutely have and keep in my collection would be the Fenty Beauty. It's the Cheeks Out Freestyle Cream Bronzer, and I have the shade Butter Biscuit. And as you can see, she's a favorite. Like, I really want to use this up this year because I don't want it to go bad. It doesn't have any scent to it in terms of going off, so I'm gonna use that. You know I can't mention bronzer on this channel without talking about the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Bronze It. This is a beautiful luminous bronzer, almost shimmery, but it doesn't show shimmery on the face. I like this shade because it's a little bit more toward the neutral versus super warm. And while I do want a warm one as well, and I'm wearing my warm version today, I love this. And this is great to layer over any creams, a matte bronzer that's not behaving right. This is a fixer of bronzers. And then lastly, in the bronzer category, good old butter bronzer. I would have it still, if for no other reason than to sniff it. But I also really like it. This is my favorite like warm tone bronzer, especially to layer up over creams or liquids. And she's beautiful, and I just have the shade bronzer. I'm going to quickly talk about the two face palettes because one of them is my highlighter situation, so we'll talk about that. And that is the Dior Backstage Glow Kit in the Universal colorway. This is all I need for highlighter. Whether I wear them separately or mixed all together, I love it. It is definitely the highlighter I'm wearing today. This brown or bronzy shade in here is one of my all-time favorite single shadows for my eyes. I love using the gold. I like using all of these on my eyes as well, so it kind of doubles as an eyeshadow palette too. They're smooth, they always look great, and like I said, they mix together and you can create your own custom colors for days. And then the other face palette that I think I would own is my original Hourglass palette. This is the Ambient Lighting Edit Unlocked. It's before they made all the other unlocked palettes, but it looks like this. And I have traveled with this a ton, and that's why I feel like I would still have this or something very similar in my collection. Plus, I do have the Hourglass powders in here, which I do like to use as like finishing powders or to blend my cheek products together, what have you. And like I said, I've absolutely traveled with this a ton, and I like the shades in here. The bronzer is great, the highlighter is great, and you have kind of two different ways or three different ways if you mix them with the blush. I chose 2 liquids, 2 creams, and 2 powders. And to be honest, I probably would have more than this in my collection because blush is just one of my favorites. But we'll start with this, and starting with the one I have on today. This is the Tower 28 Beach Please blush in the shade After Hours. It is the beautiful berry blush that I have on today, and I have a little bit of the pink blush from the Hourglass palette on top. But this is beautiful, and it doubles as a lip. I love a berry blush, so I would absolutely need to have one in my collection. I mean, just look at that. Holy pigmentation, Batman. She dark, but she's also not like scary to work with. So the next cream blush is the Merit Beauty Flush Balm in the shade Beverly Hills. This is just kind of my perfect everyday blush. It's a little peachy, it's a little pinky, and I just love it. It's so easy to just draw on your cheeks, tap it out with your fingers, and it's literally done. And then I chose 2 liquid blushes. They are both Say Dew blushes. You might know how crazy I am about this formula. Oh, I'm not even wearing the After Hours today. I'm wearing Chili. I don't know why I said that. I think because I was going to wear After Hours, and then I saw Chili, and I was like, yeah, I kind of want to wear that. So this is Chili. And then my newest one, and a new favorite for sure, is the shade Rosy, which is kind of similar to Beverly Hills from Merit, but not quite. I feel like the Merit one's a little bit more neutral, and Rosy is definitely warm toned. And lastly, my 2 powder blushes, starting with Revlon Powder Blush in the shade Ravishing Rose. This is everything that I always wanted NARS, you know what, to be. And so I'm really glad that I have this option. It's not quite as peachy or coral as NARS, but it definitely does the trick. And it has a golden sheen to it, but no glitter in it at all. And then my other one, which is again, one of my favorite like everyday blushes, and I can really start to tell in the pan here, is Charlotte Tilbury Sex on Fire. I love these blushes. These are the Cheek to Chic blushes. They do not like swatch worth a darn, but I'm gonna give it a shot anyways. I guess you could see it a little bit. It's just a nude blush, but it's absolutely stunning. It has a little bit of a glow to it, and it's just, again, it's so easy to reach for, just like Merit Beverly Hills or say Rosie. Let's quickly talk about brows and eyeshadow primer. The only eyeshadow primer I ever need is the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Amplified Eye Base. I love this. This is my second full size, and I've also used a mini of this, and it's just, it works the best for me. It's kind of waxy, and because I have, you know, oily skin and therefore sometimes oily eyelids, it's the best one for me. For brows, the really only two products I would need to have in my collection would be the NYX Micro Brow Pencil in Ash Brown. I've been wearing this since the beginning of my YouTube channel, which is like almost 6 years ago now, and it's really honestly the perfect pencil for me. I'm not even tempted to buy or try any other ones, so you know, that's the one. And then for a tinted brow gel, I love the e.l.f. Wow Brow, and I get the shade Neutral Brown. It has fibers. I tend to go in with a little bit of pencil first, just to sort of shape things, and then I go in with this for more of the color and the fill. I probably would have a clear brow gel at some point in my collection, and if I did, I think I would pick the Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter. It's just been my favorite lately, but I also like the Kosas Air Brow. And for eyeshadow, I picked two single shadows. The first one being Urban Decay Space Cowboy. I just love the sparkles in this, and even though I have sparkles in my one of my palettes, two of my palettes in here, I still feel like I would just want this single. And the other one is this cream shadow, which is from Charlotte Tilbury. It's now called Oyster Pearl, but previously it was called Marie Antoinette, so that's what mine says, but I've had this for years. It's not dried out yet. I think it's getting there, but I have gotten so much use out of that. For palettes, I think it's no surprise that I would 100%, and this is the one I have on my eyes today, and the one that has some sparkles in it, it's the Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes palette. Unfortunately, Mario and the team made a big mistake and discontinued this, and I know so many people over on TikTok feel like they have missed out on this. And to be honest, like, I think I used this for like a straight 2-3 months without really pulling anything else in. When I'm doing my makeup on the everyday, when I'm not filming, I'm just, you know, going somewhere, whatever, I always reach for this one. So love that. But I also couldn't not include my precious Persona Identity palette. I would absolutely have this in my collection. It is my #1 favorite palette and has been since it launched. Has beautiful shimmers in here, but the shimmers are so smooth and so flattering if you have any amount of texture on your eyelid. And so I love this. I love that you get, you know, a couple little pops down here with the plum and the rust shade. But I honestly, I have been using this for so long, and yet I never tire of it, and I still find new combinations of shadows when I use it. And then lastly, probably, you know, in this top 3, these would be, I would say, my top 3 palettes in my collection, is the Patrick Ta Major Dimension palette, the first one. I love this. I love that you have these creams included, so I wouldn't need to have like a potted eyeliner in my collection. But I also love these sparkles down here, and these mattes are phenomenal. They create a beautiful gradient no matter how you work them into the crease. So that would definitely be one I would have. And then again, like I said, I do use the Dior one probably as much for eyeshadow as I do for my face. All right, for eyeliners, I would only have two. This is the one I had before I started YouTube and creating, and it's the one that I'll have forevermore unless they get rid of it. It is the Wet n Wild Kohl Crayon in the shade Sima Brown now, and it's beautiful. It's smudgy. I have it on my upper, like this little wingy here, and then I also tight lined with it. It doesn't transfer down into the waterline very bad, so I like it for that as well. Whoa. And then I would definitely want a nude or fleshy toned eyeliner for my lower inner rim, and this is the one I love. This is a repurchase. It's the Pixie Eye Bright Pencil in nude, and it's less stark than the white that's kind of trending on TikTok right now, thanks to Alex Earl. So, you know, if you're 40 like me, pick up the Pixie one. And then for mascaras, I would have two, maybe not these exact two. However, I think my main mascara, and I could probably just get away with that one, is the Maybelline Sky High, but I just finished mine like she was ampy. So right now I have the L'Oreal Telescopic Lift, and I really do like it. I think, you know, my lashes show that it is a good mascara. However, I don't trust myself with this kind of crazy looking brush on my lower lash line. So I would have to have a second mascara for the lower lashes, not lash line. And so right now I've been using the Cali Ray Come Hell or High Water. This is a tubing mascara, so it's great for lower lashes because it'll never smudge on you. For lip liners, I chose 3. And I feel like I would cover my bases with these. So first would be MAC Whirl right here. This has always been my lips but better shade. So this is my second pencil of that one. My favorite, one of my favorite, I should say, nude. Oh, look at that. Those are really similar. I've never noticed. Maybe that's why I've been through 3 of these from Milani already. It's the Understatement lip liner in the shade Nude Entrance. Look how close those are. Well, another nude one that I really love that I guess I could swap out for the Milani is the Revlon one in nude, which is kind of similar but a little bit more nude. This is the Revlon, and it's extremely long lasting. And then for a pinky one, I thought I could go with the Milani Color Statement in the shade Nude, but it's pink. So yeah, they probably all look the same to you guys, but to me they're different. So let's start with the pops of lipstick, like the bright ones. First and foremost, if you guys have been with me a long time, first of all, say hi down in the comments. And do you remember me wearing NARS Let's Go Crazy all the time? Because this is my signature lip color. When I feel powerful and confident and just like $1,000,000, this is the lip color I wear. It reminds me of my grandma because she always wore bold lipstick, even though she wore not a lot of other makeup. So it always makes me think of my grandma. And then my favorite red lipstick of all time is this one from CoverGirl. It's one of their ultra matte lipsticks, and it's in the shade Sweeten Up. Isn't that a pretty red? I absolutely love that. So those would be my pops of color. And then I have 3 other lipsticks here, high-end. Starting with my favorite nude in my collection, which is Charlotte Tilbury's Matte Revolution in the shade Very Victoria. Love it. More of a neutral nude, so I feel good about that. And then one of my other favorite colors to wear, and it's one that my husband picked out for me, so I know he likes it on me as well, is Charlotte Tilbury Bond Girl. So I would definitely have that. And then one of my favorite more neutral pink colors is Merit Beauty in the shade Baby. These are the signature lip lightweight lipsticks, and it's just such a pretty neutral pink, And I have trouble finding like almost cooler toned lippies that work with my very warm complexion. So that's a good one. And then we have a balmy lipstick. These are the Revlon Melting Glass Shine lipsticks. And this is my favorite shade that I have left, which is the shade Glazed Mauve, which is again, just like a very My Lips But Better color for me. And it pairs perfectly, easy for me to say, with MAC Whirl. So, and then I would have a few staple lip glosses, which oddly enough, none of these are sparkly. So I don't know, maybe I would have some additional ones. One of my favorite glosses of all time is Rimmel's Stay Glossy in the shade Blushing Belgraves. I love this as like a center of the lip sort of highlighting shade to make my lips look fuller with any kind of pink or nude lipstick. Again, another sort of neutral leaning cool lippy that I think I can pull off pretty well, and so I wear it a lot. And this is my second tube of this same shade. So Milani Keep It Full Lip Plumper in the shade Soft Rose. So pretty, either by itself with a lip liner or over other lipsticks. My Lanta, good thing we're almost done. NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Madeline. This is what I have on my lips right now with the Nude Entrance liner from Milani. Looks like so, just a really good standard nude lip gloss, something everybody needs in my opinion. And lastly, Tower 28 Lip Jelly in the shade Coconut. I just like a fun, brighter pink gloss, especially like in the spring and summer. So there is Tower 28 Coconut, and that is it. So I don't know, it may seem like a lot of stuff, but it does all fit into this basket here. And, you know, thinking back to the amount of storage that I had for makeup in the past before I got like really crazy into it and before I started my channel and all of that, I think this is, you know, a reasonable amount. It is probably what I would have if I wasn't a creator. So let me know down below, what do you think of my picks? What are some of your absolute could not let go of it, must always be in your collection, whether you're a creator or not? And I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.